want to take this one back about Carly Fiorina?
No, I'm talking about persona. We were watching television. Her persona is all tied up when you think about it. Many of those comments are made as an entertainer because I did The Apprentice. It was one of the top shows on television. I decided not to do it again because I wanted to run for president, but some comments are made as an entertainer, and as everybody said, as an entertainer is a much different ballgame.
I am the entertainer. I could do Billy Joel, but you don't want me to. All right, welcome back, folks, on this 9/11 special. We get off topic a little bit here to talk about the events of the day with the Malzberg panel. Carol Roth, CNBC contributor and author of the New York Times bestseller, The Entrepreneur Equation. And Elura Nanos, she's an attorney and author of How to Talk to Your Lawyer. All right, ladies, let's start with you, Carol. Donald Trump trying to explain what he said about Carly Fiorina. I got to tell you, the latest poll, granted before this, shows that he's gaining with women and Hillary's losing with women.
Absolutely. I mean, Donald Trump can basically say anything, and there's a line that says, offensive or not, Donald Trump isn't wrong, and a lot of times that's the case. He's saying the things that people are thinking, sometimes not what they're thinking, but he is anti-establishment. He is really, you know, that guy who's going to be tough, and it's what people want, and women want that. They want to have somebody who speaks their mind, even if it's a little bit offensive to women in some cases. He's also equally offensive to men, so it's not like he is just a misogynist. And he can, frankly, Steve, I think he can say whatever it is he wants. It's on brand for him, but what he stands for is what's making him so popular with people.
Right. Elura, I thought he was done after McCain. What he said about McCain, and we saw that after the debate where he said the controversial remarks about Megyn Kelly. His poll numbers kept soaring, and I think they're going to keep soaring.
I mean, I agree with Carol on one point, that certainly that what people respond to about Donald Trump is that he's an entertainer and that he's very brash and that he says sometimes what people are thinking. But I think at some point that's really going to become his ultimate undoing, because he's basically, everything he says and does is informed by his massive ego. Everything he says is about, he's better than women because he's a man, and he's better than minorities because he's white, and he's better than immigrants because he's American, and he's better than the rest of us because he's rich. And at some point, it becomes not about what Donald Trump thinks about Donald Trump. At some point, people are going to wake up and say, he's a great entertainer, he's a great speaker, he's got these great remarks, but ultimately there's nothing behind it.
But Elura, there's one issue with that. He is saying, everybody knows where he stands. He is saying what he thinks, and people respect that about him. Other politicians don't say what they mean, and people believe that there are others behind the scenes doing things that are also against Americans, and that's the difference.
No, I think that's exactly right. That is what people respond to about him. I mean, even I enjoy watching him for that exact reason, because it's always great to see somebody who's not having strings pulled. However, the job of the president is not just to go out there and say what you think in a way that's entertaining. The job of the president is to govern the country, and that's a skill that's a little bit more complex and a little bit more subtle and a little less like entertainment.
But of course, it's hard to compare him and say that he would do a worse job than the person who the first word that comes to mind when they're asked about her is liar and dishonest. And that would be Hillary Clinton, whose numbers have fallen. She now has a 10-point lead among Democrats for the Democratic nomination. That's fallen tremendously. And in a head-to-head matchup with Ben Carson, she loses, according to CNN, 51-46. She's tied with Trump at 48. She's tied with Bush. Not good, Elura.
No, I agree with you. It's not good for Hillary Clinton. And I think that what we're seeing is that Hillary Clinton, she's been around a long time. People already know why they don't like her. People are already hearing lots of things that they don't like about her. And, and I think that is a problem. Somebody like Ben Carson, someone who doesn't maybe follow politics on an hour-by-hour basis, doesn't really know anything bad about Ben Carson right now. So that's why we're seeing that. I think that we will see things change as we get closer to the general election. But I agree with you. It's not great for Hillary Clinton.
All right, very quickly, here's what Joe Biden said on Colbert yesterday about running.
I don't think any man or woman should run for president unless, number one, they know exactly why they would want to be president, and two, they can look at the folks out there and say, I promise you, you have my whole heart, my whole soul, my energy, and my passion to do this. And I'd be lying if I said that I knew I was there.
Okay, go to 15 seconds each. Carol.
I think that he said something else in the interview, which is that you have to keep moving forward. And I have a lot of empathy for Joe. I'm not sure that he should run. He's been through a lot, but I think that he's going to use this as the part that makes him a real person. I think he's going to run.
Laura, what about it?
I think he's going to run. I think he's just not going to do it yet. And I think that what we saw in that Colbert interview is exactly why people are going to.
Okay, ladies, thank you very much. Appreciate it greatly. All right, folks, we're coming back. We have much more ahead on this special edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. George Pataki, who was governor of New York State during that attack. Don't go away.